Yeah. Let me get my freak on. Yeah. Are you ready? Hip him out.
Hi, my name is Lyle Workman. I'm the composer for Superbad. What led me to Superbad was actually a film prior to that, 40-Year-Old Virgin, which is the first film I did for Judd Apatow. When I first started working for Judd on 40-Year-Old Virgin, I don't think anybody really had any idea how well it was going to do. You know, it was just work. You know, like most things are, you just work and you never know what's really going to hit. I just feel so fortunate to have had that chance and that opportunity. Now working on Superbad, it's just great to see Judd do so well and come up with these ideas and formulas of making relatively inexpensive films. You know, it's just and very good ones, and just so amazing to be a part of that. I started as a guitarist playing in bands, and grew up in the Bay Area, so it's Northern California Bay Area, and was in a group called Bourgeois Tag. That was my first foray into the professional business of music. After that group disbanded, I started working with Todd Rundgren and did some records with him. Started working with Frank Black, Jellyfish, Shakira. Some of the people I've toured with have included Beck, Sting. One thing led to another, and I started working in film. When I had my first meeting with Greg Mottola, who's the director of Superbad, and Jonathan Karp, the music editor and supervisor, it's just us three, and I saw some footage, and the music that had been temped in was all late 60s, early 70s funk and R&B. We loved how it was working against, you know, these two white high school kids, you know, going off to different colleges. You know, it just this juxtaposition of that super funky music and these super white kids, it just seemed to work on a myriad of levels. It was just kind of a no-brainer, like, well, how do we make this the most authentic music as possible? What if we get the original guys, the guys that were responsible for making this music in the first place? You know, it was Bootsy Colins on bass, Berniwe Worrell, you know, from Parliament on keyboards, the drummers Sabo Strarks and Clyde Stubblefield, who between those two played on all those hits, the James Brown hits. And Catfish Collins, Bootsy's brother, who also played in James Brown band. That was the core band. Knowing that I was going to be writing music for that group, I mocked up all the stuff here in my studio and demoed it out. And I just made all this music and then just simply played my demos when it came time to recut this music for the final versions, which we did at Capitol Records. We had 4 days and just blasted out a bunch of tunes. I knew that the whole process of working with these players would probably be different from the usual scenario, in that normally with session players, and myself included, you go in and do a project, you got music, everything's written out. You've been playing to a click track, you know, for decades, and this was not the case. And so I found that I had to almost assume, dare I say, a James Brownian kind of role, with hand signals, with talking him through every cue. We're going to switch now. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it wasn't simply looking at a piece of paper with all the directions. I was literally directing this thing in real time as I was playing along with the band. The fact that we weren't working to a click track, I had to make sure that everything was lining up, and it was amazing because the timing and everything was all there. That's what gave the music its legitimacy, is because we were recording like a band would in the studio, not like a score.